Hello, and welcome to another lecture with Professor Dennis. This time, we're going to look at how to narrow down your topic for your informative writing. We'll look at what informative writing is, the informative perspective, words and phrases to avoid, selecting subtopics, and using these to guide your research. As I'm sure you can tell from the name of this paper type, the purpose of the informative paper is to inform. It is there to educate. This means that there are a good number of facts and data. There might be opinions, but only if you're able to find expert level opinions, and even those should be used very limited, if at all. The tone of the informative paper is to remain neutral. There is no personalized language in this style of writing. There are no personal pronouns used in this format. That means no I, me, my, we, us, our, or you in the informative paper. This paper is not meant to make the subject look good or bad. It is simply to provide facts. If the facts make the subject look good, so be it. If the facts make the subject look bad, so be it. The entire aim of this style of writing is to present pure facts on the topic. That being said, your informative writing should never exclude facts just because you want to make the topic look good or bad. On the contrary, informative writing is there to be fair and neutral. I can tell you that the informative writing assignment has more application to the working world than most believe. This is because of the neutral tone that you have to learn in order to write this type of an assignment. The informative paper is objective. Most reports or forms that have to be filled out in the working world follow this need for an objective tone of writing. With informative writing, there is no taking sides. There is no he said, she said. There's no I believe, I think, or I feel in the objective tone. These items are better left elsewhere. In truth, most of these phrases don't fit in any form of college-level writing, so please do your best to avoid them whenever possible. An informative perspective is the information you are examining in order to convey your message. What is your message? It is straight information on your topic. Knowing your topic is and what it is and what area of your topic you wish to closely examine will help you to narrow down your information for your paper. Most students start with a fairly broad topic. Let's take the topic of nuclear radiation. If we look at nuclear radiation, there's a great number of areas that could be researched within this one topic. The list I have here isn't even a full list of everything that could be studied or examined, and each of these areas could net a book all its own. So how do we dive deep into a topic without getting overwhelmed by all the possible research? The answer is that we narrow our topic down little by little until we have a narrow enough topic that we can find sources just on that one topic without being overwhelmed, but not so much that we can't find enough sources on the topic. It's really a balancing act. I'm going to select water-based wildlife for my next layer of focus. Now, if I take my more narrowed topic, kind of a middle of the road, I'm going to find that there's still a lot of areas of research available to me. Any of these subsets could very easily become a 20-page informative research paper. We really don't want to take that much time, so we're going to need another list of ideas. I'm going to select locations for my next layer of focus. So now I have nuclear radiation and the effects on wildlife by location. What I have here are a list of 3 locations that I can study to present an informative paper. This gives me a very narrowed idea of focus for my research. I know that I'm going to look at the nuclear radiation and how it affects wildlife for each of these three specific areas of the world. Each of these areas had a nuclear plant. Each area had a malfunction either due to the plant itself or due to a natural event that caused a breach of safety and security protocols. I know now that each of these areas is going to keep me on track for my research. Even better is that I can take what I have learned from the thesis statement lecture and use that knowledge with my narrowed topic and my exact list of areas to craft a thesis statement. I do get a lot of students when I assign this paper who say, but what if I don't agree with the information I find? Too bad. The facts, data, and statistics are what they are. Your job is to remain neutral. When I assign this type of writing in my own classes, I often tell my students that they have to research the opposition to their own side. Why would I do this? Because it is important in life to be able to research for information on both sides of a topic, whether you agree with both sides or not. This will allow you to become a better informed citizen on the topic in question. I have other students who tell me that they don't have an opposition for their topic. For those, I tell them to consider all sides of data that might need to be looked at and to go with that. For example, one year, I had a student who was writing about the collapse in Venezuela. Well, nobody is going to argue against the fact that what happened was devastating and far-reaching. It was so far-reaching that I ended up with a refugee in my 6th grade classroom. She was a sweetheart and one of the most polite young women that I've ever met, but she didn't speak a word of English when she came. Here I was in a small town in the middle of a farming community with a student from half a world away who walked through 3 countries to be able to make it to a safe extraction point in order to reach the States. To say that the events in Venezuela were far-reaching is an understatement. So how then do you research the opposition? This student decided to look at what caused the collapse and present his findings on that. This helped him when he had to write the persuasive paper, because he was able to point out historical data and data from other countries that could have prevented such an event from taking place. Another student in the same term had a stroke of brilliance for his oppositional information. His topic of choice was illegal immigration. Instead of taking one side over the other for his oppositional information, he chose to examine the data of the countries being left behind. The information he found was startling to say the least. For example, in Mexico, during the time frame in which the paper was written, circa 2017, there was a high need for youth for jobs in law enforcement and medical fields. These highly trained professions are ones that we place as important to the structure of our society. And yet there was a need for work to take place. They needed workers to replace those who were aging out. And many of the youth were leaving the country either on their own or with their parents. This was a side of the topic that I and many in the class might never have thought of if it hadn't been for this student thinking outside the box. Topics like this are rare to come across, but when they happen, it's usually a bit of unexplored writing magic that takes place. I would like to walk you through a topic narrowing activity that I hope will help you to narrow down your topic for your informative paper. If you've already been assigned a topic, then you should start there for your broad topic. If you have not been assigned a topic or have not selected a topic, please refer to my lecture on brainstorming. I want you to grab a full-size sheet of paper. It doesn't matter what kind. You can use notebook paper or printer paper, whichever you prefer. Next, you want to put your broad topic at the top of your paper or in a circle in the center of the paper with a ring noting that more narrowed topic as you go. It really doesn't matter what type of graphic organizer you use, so long as it makes sense to you. After you have your broad topic where you want on the page, start jotting down ideas of things that you could research regarding this topic. Once you have a few items listed out, select one of those items. What within that medium area could you focus on for research? Try to get a list of 3, as this makes for an easier time writing out your thesis statement for your paper. If your narrowed down items are not narrow enough, you can go one more layer if you need to. If you are writing a paper that is in opposition to your stance on the topic, you're going to follow the activity on the previous slide. Once you have your list of what you're going to research for your side with your narrowed topic, examine your narrowed items. Ask yourself the following question: what would the opposition focus on for the narrowed item? Does that help for each of the items that you have listed? This will help you to see what you need to focus on and what you should research for the oppositional information. This is especially important for argumentative writing when you have to present counterclaims and rebuttals, which is covered in my lectures on persuasive argumentative writing. I hope you found this lecture helpful, and I hope that it does help to increase your ability to construct your informational paper. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please do use the email icon to be able to email your professor. Thanks so much, and I will catch you on the flip side.